So, after more than a year after I posted a video asking if I should get a PS Vita, I finally have one. Yay! The one I went for was an aqua blue PS Vita Slim. It's a good system, very neat, the buttons are crisp, the sticks have a little bit more of a loose dead zone than I expected, but they're miles ahead of that weird 3DS disc thing. The screen looks great too, even though I heard it was inferior to the old Vita, it's still really good. Same with the touch controls. If I had to nitpick, the back touch and the cameras seem like a waste to me, and the thing is so glossy that even with freshly washed hands it smudges. Still, I'm liking the thing so far. One thing I thought was funny was the packaging. The packaging was great. It was like this weird flip open box at the top, like more like a tray. And it had some leaflets, like you open it and the first thing that greets you is "Welcome to the PS Vita." But there was a health and safety leaflet in there, which had like little comic panels of like a kid being approached by a creepy guy, a woman sweating as she looks at what I assume is a huge bill, and then another one of the kid like with like a spooky monster and gambling and stuff around him. It's funny when we have health and safety stuff. It's normally just plain text or very serious. This had like funny little cartoon pictures in which made me smile. But there was a reason it took me over a year to get, and why it cost me more than I was expecting to spend, or at least more than I was originally expecting to spend. See, in between me deciding to get a Vita and me actually pulling the trigger, the Vita had completely disappeared from the UK, and I mean it was gone. It was like I was in an episode of Sliders and jumped into a universe where the Vita never existed. The only ones I could find were going for £400 brand new, and when I actually made the original video asking if I should get a Vita, they were £180 with games. Or if it wasn't a £400 brand new one, it would be a second hand one with descriptions like "good condition, only one button missing." Yeah, I'm not paying that, and I'm not going to go for some beaten up, barely functioning one. This led me to the wonderful world of imports. I'd never used import sites like PlayAsia before, but this was the only way, really. It was a bit of a gamble getting something this expensive from abroad, but I heard the build quality of the Vita was good, so it would survive a bit of shaking at very least, and if something went wrong, well, live and learn, I guess. And yes, I did end up going with PlayAsia because, well, the prices were 6 and 2/3 everywhere I checked. Some had a higher markup on the item itself, some got their money from the postage, which would be expensive. It balanced out though. But PlayAsia seemed to have a decent reputation, at least for this kind of thing, for like games and stuff. I almost went with another company, but when I looked into them on the internet, I found people complaining about them, saying that they had lied about what they had in stock, so PlayAsia it was. That was kind of something that happened with PlayAsia as well, kind of, except not really. I did end up waiting a week because when I paid for it, it come up back stock and told me to wait, but that said, when I actually clicked the thing to buy it, it actually said on the shop page that it ships in about a week. So it checks out. It was fine. Wasn't an issue. No issue with the delivery either. Didn't have to pay extra for customs, which normally happens with imports. It all worked out. But since I was importing, I had options. As I said, I ultimately went with aqua blue since, well, I like blue. But I was tempted to get the white one with the pink trim, the white and pink one, or maybe or maybe like the Japan only pure white version to stand out. But since no one's heard of a PS Vita anyway, since they've been erased from existence in the British Isles, I decided not to bother. For those wondering about importing a machine, I'd imagine there'd be issues if you imported a console, but importing a handheld, there's been no problems so far. The machine charges from micro USB, and there's no region lock, so you can play any games on it. And when you first boot the system, it comes up with a language select screen, so from that screen you can choose English, and so far it's been painless. I've heard Americans joke that plugs in the UK are huge, And having got a Vita, Japanese plugs are tiny, not much bigger than my thumb. Makes me wonder if they have fuses on the inside. One strange thing was that the system wouldn't charge. It wouldn't charge from my PC anyway. It would charge from my PS3 just fine though. What's weird is that my PS3 controllers do the same thing, and I don't know why. Anyway, I'm rambling. I have 3 games so far. Galgun Double Peace, which I played on the PC after I'd bought the Vita version, but before I actually got the Vita to play it on. And Demon's Gears, which I've had for a while as well. And when I got the system, I also decided, since I was importing it, I might as well import Phantasy Star Nova as well. Sod it. And after importing it, I ended up watching some videos online and then realised I'd made a big mistake. I'd seen those videos before and I went, oh, what? It's like, why don't they bring that over here? It looks cool. But now I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, oh, that game's so complicated and there's so much text. But it's Phantasy Star, so I'll figure it out, hopefully. The big issue for me now is memory cards. For those unaware, Sony decided to use a proprietary kind of SD card for the system and charged a huge markup on them. They haven't quite disappeared from the British Isles yet, but they aren't exactly common either. I'm not as bothered about getting one of these second-hand because, let's be honest, some kid or junkie isn't going to be able to do much damage to them and have it still work. However, they seem to know that, and second-hand ones aren't that much cheaper than buying one brand new. It also seems that a lot of the new ones are sold without the packaging for some reason. I don't really care about the packaging, but it seems weird to sell something as new when it's been opened. My local game shop, like the game retailer chain Game, used to do this a lot with their games, and it annoyed me, especially when they used to open them and just throw them into a drawer, so you'd buy a brand new game and it would be scratched. Anyway, point is, I can get a big memory card or a little memory card or something in between. They go from 4GB to 64GB, with the larger ones once again being limited to Japan. Oh, and the big markup I mentioned, a 64GB SD card might set you back, I don't know, £30 or so. PS Vita memory card that's 64GB, that will come close to £100. Ouch. While conventional wisdom would say get the biggest card that I can afford, the question to me is, do I need it? When I got a PS3 Slim, I got the small one, which was 150GB according to the system settings. I got the small one, well, because it was cheaper, but because I was also planning on replacing the hard drive anyway with something bigger. But when I did, I got issues when loading stuff from the hard drive. I'm guessing it was like a read-write speed issue or something. I don't know. But the point is, I switched back to the stock hard drive and thought I'd upgrade it later. But the thing is, I never filled up that stock hard drive. And most of what's on it now are those infamously bloated PS3 game installs and a bunch of random YouTube videos I put on it to watch on the telly. So this raises the question, is there reason to get a 64GB card when all of my PS1 classics and the few downloadable games I want can fit in just a few gigs? The thing is, I don't know how big PSP classics are, and I know that some Vita games can have large patches, like about a gigabyte in size, but those seem to be the exception instead of the rule. I think, maybe, I don't know. Let me know what you think, whether I should go for the big one, go for a small one, go for something in the middle. As for the games I plan to get, the footage you've been seeing is from a game called Assault Gunners. I took the footage from Blue Maxima's Vita channel. It's a Japanese only, download only game at the moment. And I'm considering making a Japanese PSN account just so I can download it, but not right now. Damascus Gear, which was one of the games I was looking forward to getting, came out on Steam not too long ago, and having played it, I'm not a fan, to be honest. It's kind of bland. Valkyria Drive also came out on PC, though I've not played it yet. And that's kind of the problem I'm starting to run into. A lot of the games I want to play are getting a PC version, or they are JRPGs. I'm not really a big fan of traditional JRPGs, and I have 2 JRPGs to play through right now, so we'll have to see on those. Maybe I'll wait until I've finished Phantasy Star Nova and Demon's Gears before I look into other JRPGs. And I'm also considering importing Bullet Girls, even though it doesn't look very good. I might as well if I import a memory card, if it works out cheaper that way. But yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.